Thank you
Dr.
very much. I think
You have been
yes,
allowed to screen share. You have been
yes,
allowed
sir.
to share your screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, and welcome again to the webinar where we are discussing about the listing benefits with me. Ms. Pragati, can you please mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. Those who are not speaking, please mute yourself so that there should not be any disturbance. And next 1 hour, we are going to discuss about the listing procedure with me uh, from the stock exchange. Mr. Koshal is there, who is always be helpful and guiding the NGOs every time, though from his busy schedule, but always be ready. And Mr. Swami is also there, who has uh, listed 3 times the projects on the stock exchange. So we have enriched speakers, followed by me, very experienced one. So I will not take much time and will let them also speak more on the topic for the practical experiences. I will cover only the listing benefits and a brief procedure on the listing. I am Rakesh Tayal from ESG Pro Consultancy India LLP, which is the first firm empaneled with the ICMAI RVO, authorized to have the impact assessment done on behalf of SEBI as per the requirements for the listed projects. So those projects which have to be listed under the stock exchange that need to be impact assessed by impact assessor. And I am proud that I am the partner of the firm which is first one to empanel with ICMI RVO. What is listing? Social sector normally faces the problem on the different fronts. One, they are registered under the different laws. It can be a society, trust, or Section 8 company. And they are compiling the accounts and fulfilling the formalities as per their regulations or laws governed by them. So it is difficult to have a benchmark or comparison between the different organizations. Maybe they are working in the same thematic area. Second, outcome and impact depends on the service users, depending on which area you are working. So geographical, behavioral aspects may be different or challenges may be different for different NGOs. The outcomes that are given by the NGOs are very qualitative and subjective, and benchmark of one intervention could not be applied to other. Second challenge is what the NGOs are facing about the credibility. Today we have 33 lakhs or more than 33 lakhs NGOs. That is, for every 500 people in India, we have one NGO. The issue is on the credibility, visibility, and accessibility to the funds. Most of the funds have been blocked. Wealth has been blocked in the temples, mosques, churches, and sustainable utilization of that is not visible. Purpose of the social stock exchange is the answer to all of the challenges faced by the NGOs. Social stock exchange is the common language, I can say, that is available now to the NGOs to build up their credibility, the visibility, and as Mr. Gupta mentioned, access to our alternate source of the funds. Given that with the recent amendment of 10% CSR spent can now be invested in the ZC bond. So it is an opportunity for the NGOs to come forward and list their projects on the social stock exchange and demonstrate their capability to the corporate sector also. What are the benefits of listing? So once you have to register, I believe that registration, we have a separate seminar, and I have not covered much on the registration part, but about the eligibility and all. But the benefits of the registration is that over the moment you register on the SSC, you will become a credible institution, because for the registration also you have to go through a diligence process of the social stock exchange. You will become the NSC or BSC. The nationwide your visibility will increase. You can attract the talent. Being you are a listed or the listed entity on the NSC, everyone will feel proud to join your organization. So your talent search will also be improved and people will join the organization more in a more efficient way. For the listing, the major benefit is the governance, because before listing of a project, it has to be deep dive, gone through a diligence by the social stock exchange officials. They will check the KPI of the project, who is running the project, all the KYC has been done by the SSC. Give me a minute. So as I mentioned, there are 33 lakh NGOs, more than 33 lakh NGOs in India. However, only 5 lakh NGOs have been registered on the Darpan portal, which is the portal by the Niti Aayog for the government schemes. Only 15,000 NGOs are acting today, which are acting on the FCRA. Only 15,000 NGOs in India, and 170 NGOs are registered on the stock exchange. So the moment you get the registration on the stock exchange, you will be among the top 170 organizations who are registered on the stock exchange. So your credibility is far more than those 15,000 NGOs, and you will be outstanding in terms of credibility, visibility, and access to the capital. Indirect benefit is that the moment you are listed, whether you are listing for a small project, you can approach the donors. You can approach the corporates for another funds, giving the credibility and the accessibility criteria that you are listing or listed on the stock exchange. It is the same like a listed company has the more credibility than a private limited company or a partnership firm. Your NGO overnight will enjoy that credibility on the stock exchange or in the eyes of the donors or the CSR investors. You will get the long-term investors. You can define a project for the CSR. You have to define the project for a 3-year period. So long-term visibility, long-term assurance of getting funds will be there. Your operations can be scaled up. By listing, it doesn't mean NGO is going to list. NGO has to register. Listing is of a project, and that project can be as minimum as of rupees 50 lakh rupees. And you can list more than one project in a year also. So for a district, if you want to intervene in a district, so you can list one project, and if that is successful, you can again list the same project for the another district on the stock exchange. So you can list as many projects as much you want on the stock exchange in a year. But that should have a clear KPI, measurable criteria, who is running the project, KYC of the management, bandwidth of the management of the project. All these things will be scrutinized by the stock exchange. You will have the access to the funding sources, and infrastructure support will be there with you. How to list on the stock exchange. The steps I will cover a little bit later. But for the stock exchange, you have to issue the ZCZP bond, zero coupon, zero principal bond. These are the instruments that has to be issued by the NGO who are registered on the stock exchange against their project. Beauty is that you need not to pay any principal amount, neither you have to pay on any interest on this. However, donor will stay connected with you as this ZCZP bond will reflect in their DMAT account over the period of the project. So ZCZP instrument is only is for a specific project. If you are listing 3 projects, then you have to issue ZCZP bond for all the 3 projects separately. And it has to be for a duration of the project. The minimum issue size is 50 lakh rupees. Any donor can invest as low as 1,000 rupees in your project. And individuals can also be subscribed. However, if you are bringing the project of 50 lakh rupees, you can raise only if the issue is subscribed 50%, then you can also carry on your project. So 50% minimum subscription is required now. Earlier it was 75%, but now it has been reduced to 50%. So it means if your project is viable at 25 lakh rupees, even then you can bring the project. But my suggestion is that being to build the credibility, like an IPO to be successful should be fully subscribed. So my suggestion that you should be confident to subscribe your this IPO kind of thing or the DFRD fully of 50 lakh rupees. So what is the procedure for the listing? Procedure for the listing is that because it is a little bit technical, Mr. Swami can also contribute to this in his turn, that though you can do it at your own if you have the bandwidth, but since there are so many technical challenges, legal advisory is required, so it is better to appoint an advisor who will take care of all the compliances, all the letter drafting, all the coordination with the exchange, and being it is not only the exchange, you have to coordinate with the registrar, you have to coordinate with the bank, you have to coordinate with the depositories, and post that also you have to coordinate with the bankers. So different stakeholders are required to bring an issue of the ZCZP board. So it is advisable to appoint an advisor for the coordination. If you have to go at your own, then you have to appoint a registrar. You have to prepare the DFRD document, which I will just touch upon in next 2 minutes. DFRD is a draft fundraising document which will drill down the details about your organization, credibility of your organization, the detail about the project which you are upcoming with. And you have to appoint the registrar who will issue the bonds in the DMAT account of the donors and the depositories who are the custodian of these bonds. Once DFRD is issued, it will be published on the website of stock exchange as well as website of the NGO for 21 days for the public comments. The stock exchange will raise the queries or seek the clarification on your DFRD draft fundraising document. And you have to clarify that within 30 days of the clarification asked by the exchange. Once all the clarifications have been cleared, you will get the in principle approval and 6-month time to file the FFRD. You will get a window of 10 days to raise the funds within 6 months of in principle approval of the DFRD. So this is the brief step-by-step process that you should have the valid registration on the stock exchange. Then you have to appoint a registrar. Advisor is the optional, so I have removed that step. You have to appoint a registrar which is registered with the SEBI. You have to make an arrangement with the depository participant, NSDL or CDSL, So that you have a Demat account, you will get the ISIN code for that. Then you have a tripartite agreement between the NPO, registrar and depository participants. Then you have to start the drafting of the DFRD document, and this DFRD document has to be filed with the stock exchange. This DFRD document is available for the public comment on the SSC website as well as NGO website for 21 days. SSC has to provide the comments within 30 days. After clarification and filing the FRD with clarifications, the SSC will give you the in principle approval, which is valid for the 6 months. Within 6 months, you have to file the final FFRD with the stock exchange. Once you decide to bring the issue, you have to open an escrow account with the bank. Why the escrow account? If you are not able to raise 50% of the funds, all the amount will go back to the donors. So minimum subscription size should be 50% of the total issue. If the issue is oversubscribed, then you have to allot it on a pro rata basis. That work is done by the registrar. They will reconcile all the subscription made by the public to your project. If it is oversubscribed, they will allot it on the lottery basis and refund the balance amount to the donors. The issue period is 3 to 10 days. The applicant details are verified by the registrar. So every donor being having a Demat account is a genuine donor on your organization. Their PAN number, Demat account has to be verified by the depository also. Post that, the ZCZP instrument will be credited to Demat account, and from the escrow account, amount will be transferred to the NGO account, which has to be kept separate from all the funds. So whatsoever money you are raising from the listed platform, you have to keep it in a separate bank account. You cannot spend it for any other purpose other than the listed project. You have to appoint a grievance officer also, who will take care of the queries of the donors. And at the end, you have to also enter into an agreement with the social stock exchange. And that will be a successful listing of the NPOs. Normally, it will take around 6 months time, though I have written 100 days if everything goes well, but it will take around 4 to 6 months to bring an IPO for the first time, but it may be take near about minimum 3 months will be there, which has to be taken care depending on the queries and clarification by the SS. The last part is what is in the DFRD document, and post that I can take the Q&A. The DFRD document through ZCZP instrument, if you want to raise the funds, the SEBI has to prescribe the minimum disclosure requirement, and additional detail can be asked by the stock exchange. The DFRD has to be posted on the stock exchange for 21 days. Within 30 days, there is a DFRD filing, and FFRD filing has to be made prior to the opening of the issue. You have to give minimum disclosure like vision, target statement of the organization, strategy, what is the governance, management of the organization, operations of the organization, finance, that is the accounts, balance sheet, audited balance sheets, compliance, credibility. In the credibility, you have to give the 12A, 80G certificates, impact assessment report for the projects you have already carried about, and the risk involved in fulfilling the listing or the project which you are going to list. So in the vision, this should be in line with the objects of your constitution, activities, program, intervention which you are willing to. The target statement should include the reach to accomplish planned activity and intention to improve inclusion for the recipient. So how the recipient are inclusive, that you have to establish in the DFRD. While formulating strategies for vision accomplishment, capabilities should be disclosed in the DFRD document, and what are the challenges that can be faced out, and what are the strategy to mitigate those challenges. Those also you have to disclose in the DFRD document. DFRD document to include the governing body of the organization, composition, the board meeting dates, so that it can be proved that organization is good governance is aligned in the NGO. The detail of key management personnel who are in charge of the program, who is in charge of the fundraising, marketing, HR, every person detail has to be given in the DFRD document. Not only this, the roles and responsibility of the staff, including their appraisal process, should be disclosed in the DFRD documents. The organization should have a physical existence. Last 3 year financials should be disclosed. The audit accounts should be there. There should not be any material disqualification in the audit report. And for the credibility section, you have to give the trust deed, MOA, AOA, FCRA certificate, 12A certificate, and remuneration of the governing members. Also, you have to disclose in the DFRD document. Social impact of the past programs also has to be given, including the impact scorecard, the risk on the project which you are listing, external risks, internal risks that have to be listed down, and also the strategy to mitigate those risks has to be involved. Regarding the financial cost of bringing the listing, it will take around 5 to 10 lakh rupees to list a project of 1 crore rupees because it involves so many technicalities. Depending on the what is the charge by the registrar or the NSDL, CDSL. Earlier they are taking 5 lakh to 5 lakh. Listing can be there, but nowadays cost has been increased. And you can assume that it will take around, Mr. Swami will also tell he has listed three projects. But it's required a technical subject, more or less, and it will take 5 to 10 lakh rupees. For the first listing, Mr. Kaushal will also brief that some of the amount has been reimbursed by the stock exchange also. However, major cost includes about the statutory auditors, third-party impact assessment, certification from the company secretaries, escrow account, depository fees, any consultant if you appoint from the outside, and the fundraising through PR activities or the marketing of your IPO that also bring a cost. So all these are the financial costs of the bringing the listing projects. I open the house for any questions on the listing.
Thank you. We'll take questions towards the end of the session. Now we request Mr. Kaushal from National Stock Exchange to kindly share his views more specifically and particularly from the exchange perspective with regard to the listing process and the practical issues involved therein. Over to Mr. Kaushal, please.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you, Rakesh ji. Most of the things have already been talked, but certainly I would like to add some pointers here, and then probably we can have some interactive session where questions can be taken care, and then same time, like, we can have some brainstorming as well, like what can be the questions, and if there are any ideas around CSR inclusion and all those things. So starting from, like, as sir said, that if we define, SSC in three things, like, visibility, credibility, and how it provides a kind of alternate, kind of platform for raising funds for projects, right? So again, one change that we had been anticipating for so long before CSR was the minimum size of the project subscription size, right? That was 75%, where a lot of questions were there. What if we are not able to raise that much? So it has gone down to 50%, provided exchange approves that, and provided its all approval is subject to how the project is able to create meaningful outcome, and basis that the approval can be granted. So that is one. And when we talk about certain things about the current status, certainly like, on NSE SSU, we have approximately 200 NPOs registered so far. However, like around 95 to 100 are active. And good news is like, once we, after receiving that, CSR amendment, most of the NPOs are returning for renewal. That is a good news. Second is almost every day we are receiving somewhere around like on an average 3 to 5 NPOs registration application everyday basis. So that is a good kind of like traction because of this thing. When we talk about the project listed, and before CSR got introduced, we have 16 projects. They have raised over 44.5 crore. And when we talk about the pipeline, next 24-25 projects are going to raise approximately 100 crore, which are active in pipeline, and many are working on their DFRD. And I must share that where NPOs were a bit like conservative, where how much they should raise, considering that CSR was not there, and with all the limited box for the donors. Now, after this inclusion, they are looking for the big ticket size, and they're not being so conservative. So if they were just planning for 1 crore, now they're thinking of 3 to 4, 5 crore kind of project listing. So that's a good sign. Then when we talk about CSR amendment, we all are pretty much well aware about that. And following that, NSE has also announced as a press release that they are going to earmark 10% of its CSR corpus on social stock exchange. And certainly overall processes help NPO build their governance and how it improves their processes and systems, and gives a kind of professional outlook of running an NPO. Apart from this, one more development I must share, that we are aware of capacity building fund. That was a sort of umbrella fund for awareness building and building capacity of the entire ecosystem, considering that it was a convergence between social sector and capital market, and both needed to learn from each other. And this fund will help everybody kind of have kind of bring them on same platform and same page. So that is why that CBF now has become a kind of capacity building foundation of Social Stock Exchange as Section 8 company. And it's going to be operational soon. And apart from awareness activities and building capacity of the stakeholders, it is also going to look at the other game changer that we are anticipating, which is retail philanthropy, basically how it can kind of create that awareness, not just awareness across retail funders, but also a sort of nudge that why giving is very important. So that is where we are going to have some human centered design based social behavior change communication mass campaigning, the way mutual funds say have worked. So that will take some time, but certainly work has started. When it comes to process of listing, I mean, apart from the process that how it gets done when you come up with one project and in form of draft fundraising document that goes for public comments for 21 days, including all the weekends. And then exchanges, come up with their queries and questions, and then it gets approval. Hi, sir. Yeah, so approval. So in the process also, this is an opportunity that you write a very good project, because when you kind of raise fund through bilateral medium, it's just between two parties, right? But when it comes on platform like exchanges, it's a way. I mean, how beautifully you write a project, that also matters a lot. That's a good branding tactics that can be used by the NPO, and you write a good project and you share that with all the related parties, all the potential investors, and don't ask for the funding, but ask for their comments, because if they will be they are interested in giving comments or provided kind of reading your project, certainly they will be the potential ones to kind of give that fund also for the project. So that is what the beauty of this. Certainly, like, CSR is one cherry on the cake, but the second part is retail funding. And once that comes, probably this convergence will bring and will have potential of funding any project of any size. So that is one. Second, like, once it is approved, there are certain stakeholders where you have to learn about. One is, whenever you are submitting your DFRD, you have to have idea of RTA, what they do, how they work. So they are like, once you list down all the stakeholders and talk to them, probably you will be able to figure out how much fundraising cost is going to be there, right? And in between, like, also, once you go through multiple DFRDs uploaded on our website, even the final fundraising documents there. So even like, Ramesh sir is here, so they have raised thrice. So you can, and he has, the best part is his humility is he has put all the documents on his website. So there also you can have a lot of reference from his documentation and everything. That works as a great template for your use. So that will help you understand everything. And that is where, like, once you study all those things, and then if, as Rakesh ji said, that you might need some consultant. So once you have that homework ready, and then you have discussion with consultant, probably you'll be able to negotiate well that these are the chapters I can write it well, but this is where we need your support, where certain nomenclatures and jargons are need some further understanding and capacity building for us. So that is where, like, that homework is very much important. And somehow all the homeworks are uploaded on kind of all the platforms. So right now we cannot complain that there is a kind of lack of understanding or lack of knowledge about social stock exchange. So that is one. And when it comes to CSR, there are a lot of questions, and we are trying to collate all the questions and trying to answer those questions so that there can be one compendium of question, and we can upload that on our website, and certainly that can be circulated across all the kind of stakeholders, and they can go through that how it will work. We are also trying to define our processes, that how it can be brought in practice, because announcing is one, but bringing that in practice is another thing. And probably that will also set up some process understanding to other corporates to put in their CSR fund, right, to SSC projects. Because we have had started, like, doing this outreach and engaging with different corporates, understanding their needs and their processes, how much excited they are, what are their questions, what are their apprehensions, and all this stuff. So that is where, like, we have written to hundreds of such corporates, and with all the limited time, we have been able to meet with more than 15-20, from top to medium to the lower ones, and we are seeking those feedbacks. And certainly, like, we are collating them, and that can also work as a kind of another level of refining certain processes. So that is one. And as Rakesh ji said, that there is some lottery system. There is no lottery system in the capital market. Everything works as an algorithm, and it's all based on transparency, leading to that trust, right? When it comes to social stock exchange, either you can be oversubscribed or undersubscribed. In case of undersubscription, it will be returned to the investor. When it is oversubscribed, that also you can control at the time of final fundraising document only. Either you can have it like proportionate basis, or you can make it like, first come first complete the issuance. But just in case, like, everybody wants to have their oversubscription, that's saying that, see, we build a project which was highly, like, attractive, which was bought by or funded by so many investors. So that's always good to brag a little bit and flaunt about your oversubscription. In that case, it gets returned to funders, like, in proportionate basis. And that also helps you building your next project's pipeline. Whenever you can say that, see, thank you so much for your money, but next time we are coming again. So whatever you have got return, like, you build more money through that, and probably next time again you fund our project. So a lot of things that where you can think through, because this is completely a new concept. So it is also trying to challenge you in a way that how you are going to refine your pitch and challenge them, because somehow this way, this will not be like, your network is certainly important, but this platform also gives an opportunity where the quality project will also make it sound, and create a lot of, like, such funders where they look for some project which can challenge their thought process, that, oh, I had never thought about this way of developing certain areas in development world, right? So a lot of things can be done. And uh, normally, like, when we come to this issuance opening, it's minimum 3 days. It goes up to 10 days, 3 plus 7, and maximum further 10 more days can be extended, which is, I think, pretty enough if NPOs can take kind of in principle or pre agreement of that fundraising. If they mark, I mean, if they are ready to fund your project, you tell them this is the period where you are going to open. And I believe that this is a kind of sufficient period, where many people ask that why this is like, 10 to 20 days, right? But believe me, like, maybe like sir will also maybe validate this thing, that 20 days is pretty enough. Because when we talk about 20 days, it does not count weekends. It counts market. uh, when market is open, that time only, like, these 20 days are counted. So this is how it is, and a lot to talk about it, and probably those would be all repeats what sir and Rakesh ji told. But probably more questions will help, like, challenging our thoughts also and answering accordingly. Meanwhile, Ramesh sir is here, so he would love to add here, to the conversation. Yeah. Yes, sir. Over to you.
Yeah, Nani Gupta ji is there.
Yes, yes, sir is here.
Swami sir from Unnati Foundation, only organization to have done listing 3 times so far, and he's going to talk about his experience about learning and also what message he wants to give to other NPOs who are proposing to list or yet waiting to get listed on the social stock exchange. So over to Mr. Swami, please.
Thank you, Gupta ji. Thank you, Kaushal. Thank you, Rakesh ji. Of course, I must say that all the good things were there before. The best thing is now CSR portion coming in and giving a certain amount of volume to what you can raise. Because the earlier days when we raised money, we were not very confident how much we could raise through retail, right? But now with CSR coming in, there's a great possibility that you are in a position to raise slightly bigger amounts. What is required on the back end, like Kaushalji said, was now the companies have to come forward and pledge, saying that, yes, I would love to pledge this amount towards SSC. If that list comes across, and they cannot be telling, there is a message to be very clearly. I've been talking to a lot of CSR. A lot of questions are there which are getting addressed by NSC and SEBI and everybody. But those are technical questions which they will require answers. But what many of them today talk about is, we are already having a team. We know our NGOs. We know we have done always due diligence. We have been supporting them for 10 years. All these reasons are being quoted by CSR companies. And my only appeal to them each time is saying that, sir, come and give it in the ecosystem of social stock exchange, because you all believe in transparency. You all have believed in impact. You all question the governance things. So here is a platform which is a combination of everything and impact assessment, not just somebody telling, not just an assessor. It's an audit firm approved by the three biggest agencies in the country, whether it is the CA firm, the cost accountants, or the company secretary institutes. They are giving a certification to an audit firm. The audit firm has an assessor in place, and then the whole report comes across. So it's a very, very powerful report. We have been sharing that report right, left, and center to people, and it helps us. At least they don't question us on various things. When I say something, how do we know, sir? It is there in the audit report, sir. It is available. And this is one of the things which comes across, which is not a direct benefit. Kaushal just touched upon it, but I will just deepen that point. You will learn a lot about your own project, because when you talk to the professionals, see, you cannot present a DFRD or a FFRD to the department without a lawyer's help. I can, after 3 times also, even the 4th time, I've already started my work. 90% of the work, the data, everything has to be given by us, right? But who will put it together? Well, you have everything. The thali has to be made beautiful, look beautiful. The dressing has to happen. That has to be done by the lawyer. They know the language. They know what all questions to ask you. They will not compromise on various questions. We tend to say, oh, theek hai. For example, risk management. When the lawyer asked me, sir, what is the risk management? I said, there's no risk management. Nothing. Everything will happen, sir. What is there? What is there to risk? There's no risk at all. So I didn't even realize that there are so many risks. Then they came out asking me 20 questions, and 20 risk managements came up, right? So the point is, we have to go with them. They will teach us a lot of things. I was working with the social impact, and they asked questions, and they said, sir, this impact you're not showing at all. Why are you not showing? We will write in our report. So a lot of things you will learn. Be in the SSC not to raise money at this point of time. To all those NGOs who are sitting here, be in it to make yourself extremely good for the future. It may happen that you start something today, you're not able to complete by March. It can happen. It can happen if certain documents are not ready or certain things are not ready. Because I know that even the balance sheet of March, sometimes auditors take their own sheet time. They will complete by September, October. Then there is a possibility. But start off, try and make things ready. Try and work on, if you're giving a multi-year project, please understand you have to give impact assessment for each year. So it will have 3 years of impact assessment. So you will spend X amount. On that X amount, the impact assessment will happen the first year. By October, you have to submit. The second year, again by October, you have to submit. The third year, again, you have to submit the whole thing. So you have to understand how all these work. The cost of all this put together could be in the range of around 10 lakh rupees. When I say 10 lakh, I'm talking of the RTA charges, the CDSL, the NSDL, the lawyer's fees, the impact assessment fees. These are all direct cost, marketing fees, all these which you will be paying. There's an indirect cost which nobody talks about, is if you have to be in an SSC, you will end up at least spending 10 lakh rupees just making sure that your internal systems are in place, your online accounting, or various online reporting of data. All this has to, if you are going to be working on maybe you are able to do it, sir. I don't know, but I can tell you, I don't think Unnati could have been able to manage that on Excel. We have gone into ERP. We have gone into a lot of cloud-based softwares, which has helped us in many ways to be able to manage. Going forward, I'm talking of, as Kaushalji said, there is a tab on unnatiblr.org. There's a tab there. Any document which is required, right from resolution to NSDL agreement, anything, everything is there. So will that help you? It will help you only to understand what has to be done. You download it, remove your organization name, put Unnati, but there will be many other things which you will have to fill up and all that. But you will get an idea what it means, what it does, what are the ways each time. For example, you're listing it, listing your resolution must be there, listing resolution is there to account escrow account with the bank, the RTA agreement with the escrow account and the yourself. Then you open another account where the money is transferred into the. So all these aspects are highlighted on those documents. So at least in my opinion, somebody who's and somebody who's learning a law, an intern law, so that he understands aspects of it. Many of the things I have learned only through all of them sitting here and the lawyers and all that. So nobody can claim to be an expert, but I tell you that you will require help to do it. And with CSR coming, how I look at it in the next 6 months, 8 months is I am keeping my DFRD ready. I'm keeping everything ready, not for filing it. I'm keeping it ready, hoping that Kaushalji and NSC and other people will put up a list of some 25 companies which will say, yes, we want to pledge money. I'm not saying that they will give money to Unnati. I'm not saying that they have to give money to Unnati. They can give it to anybody. But at least if I know that these are the people, we can write to them, say that this is our project, sir. Can you help us out? And it could be a very huge amount. It could be a very huge amount. For example, NSC is the first organization to pledge 10%, right? Nobody else, in my view, has done that. Everybody is discussing, but the moment they come out with the FAQ and other things, and they realize, and important aspect is, I want all those who are CA or company secretary or cost accountants, institute people who are sitting here or consultants. Please don't talk about SSC just as a medium to CSR to give money. Talk to them that this is a necessity, this is a responsibility of a CSR to create a strength in the ecosystem. Because all of us believe that SSC is a great thing for the country. As an NGO, you may say, sir, 100 rupees is coming, 90 rupees only comes to my hand, 10 rupees is going away. Sir, I agree with you, 10 rupees is going away, but the fact remains that 90 rupees of many people which could create a huge impact, that can be seen in future, right? So I think we are all talking of the ecosystem more than something else. So I'll stop at this point because there are Q&A and other things, and it's not fair that I take this time. So
Thank you
thanks
so
a lot,
much, Mr.
Balaji.
Kumar.
Thank you so much, Kaushal.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your perspectives. Now the floor is open for views, observations, any questions. One of the questions that's there in the chat box is, do investors make money from social stock exchange investments? If yes, how?
It's only social return, basically, not financial return. But we are also parallelly talking about something related to outcome-based funding, where it's there will be a setup where outcome funder is there. There is a risk funder. So certainly, when risk funder is putting in money for the implementation, they will be charging some risk premium. So it's somehow going to meet the inflation only. But yes, like that way, we can say that some risk premium is there. But when it comes to ZCZP as an instrument, there is no financial return. There is only social return.
Thank you. Yes, Parag sir.
So thank you for giving me the chance and this wonderful opportunity. I had a question for Rakeshji because he and I had spoken in March.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see that in the bold experiment, do you think a future would exist where we say that you can only give CSR to those organizations that are listed on the SSC?
Yeah, sir. So I had been in Kerala in a program where I had opportunity to meet the CSR heads of the Tata Group, Manipur Group. and all of them are considering that being the credibility and of the companies also, so they will prefer rather like BRSR is there. So companies are forcing their vendors to be BRSR compliant also, though it is not mandatory for them. So I am very hopeful that the companies will also invest because it is now not no more spent now. जो मैं बोलता हूँ CSR अब spent नहीं investment है. So CSR is no more a spend, it is an investment in the economy of India. Right? So companies, for their credibility on the organizations, they will prefer to go to the CSR who are have some project listed on the stock exchange. So maybe 10% is mandatory, but 90% also may go to the NGOs who have listed their one or more project on the stock exchange. That is my view on that.
Thank you, sir. Very helpful, sir.
Thank you. There's a question in the chat box. Is it mandatory to file with SSC receipts and payments accounts for the funds raised? I mean, that's the
Yeah,
funds
so-
utilization certificate. There is a compliance requirement for the listed projects. That's what the question is all about.
Yeah, so even if when a project is funded, I mean, the entire transaction and everything is a part of allotment, right? So that's a part of the entire process. So that has to be there. And second is even if there is oversubscription, then some reimbursement happening, a refund happening to different donors, it all gets recorded and that's there. And when it comes to compliance, they have to submit kind of utilization every quarter and then social impact assessment annually.
Can the NGO retain surplus funds? I mean, surplus funds in the sense that more amount being received than the amount which was planned to be raised. So how do you deal with that?
So sir, right now this provision is not there, and that's why there is refund to the investor. Yeah,
Green shoe is possible
it's
if you plan it.
it's not there, sir, till now.
As of now, it's not there.
It's not there, sir. Yeah.
Are there any special accounting or compliance requirements for NGOs listed on the social stock exchange?
There is not as such as long as they are fulfilling the regulatory compliances. Plus, it's always suggested that when when they transfer their escrow fund after listing of the project to the project fund, so that they will have some tap on the interest amount on the project, because they're not going to spend all the amount in few months only. So
Sure.
quarterly, they can also showcase, because there are so many disclosures. They talk about the interest amount on the kind of funds not spent till now. Yeah,
Sure.
unspent basically. Yeah.
Any other questions, please? Any views, any observations, any suggestions from the participants?
Yeah, we can open the floor. I'm sure there must be some people, they have some questions. They may not be
You
able
can
to.
unmute and speak also. Someone.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
Sir,
please.
just
Yeah,
one
Anuj.
doubt.
Yeah, Anuj.
When I enrolled ourselves and when we designing the program, that time you said some cost is incurred, like a 10 lakh rupee, whatever the amount is incurred. Once the subscription will happen, how we adjust this amount in our project? Is in
So there are 2-3 ways. 10 lakhs is not kind of the cost you will incur, because anyways, when you are going to write your project, there are certain templates that we will be providing to you. There are so many DFRDs to refer to. So that will help you out understanding and mapping how you want to write your project, right? So the way you write your social project, it's very much similar to that. So there you don't have to, you are the expert in that way. But other than project object chapter, there you may need some support from advisor, or those documents will guide you. Second is whatever the kind of cost you are incurring. One is advisor's cost, or you're paying to RTA or depositories, or in the process to banker while opening the escrow account. You can factor them in as a part of your project cost, and there are two kinds of cost. One is project cost and one is called issue related cost. So once you will go through the DFRD, you will see that header is there. So certainly you can do it. And to optimize that cost, capacity building fund also has one provision of giving one time incentive of 5 lakh rupee to first 21 projects, basically projects NPOs who raise the fund. So say for example, Ramesh sir has done it thrice, but Unnati Foundation received that first for their first project only. For second and third project, they have not received any one-time incentive. That is why it is one-time incentive. So these are certain provisions, and till now it is for 21 projects. It was for 20, but one NPO said that they don't like to take that incentive. Maybe like it can be further given to some other NPO. So they were kind enough to say that. So that's why it's for 21. So this is how you can optimize your fundraising cost.
Sure. Any other question, please? Any views, any observations?
Yeah, there is some question. I think somebody has
Excess amount in project can be used in another project by the same NGO.
No, in this case, SSC does not stop one NPO to bring multiple projects at one go. You can come up with a project parallelly, multiple projects at one go. Also, you can submit multiple projects. So this is how it works. And every project is different, their goals are different. So that is why it's a kind of project-wise fundraising and project-wise listing. Just in case, if you want to have some phase-wise and tranche-wise project fundraising, that provision is also there, though till now, it's not been explored. But it can be done. There is one provision of that as well. So what you can do is, what you refund probably 6 months down the line, you are going to raise fund again as a part of your second tranche or second phase. That time you can ask those funders to fund that project through that money, right? So that can be done. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we were so effective that no questions are there.
I know.
Yeah,
That we come to the end of this particular interactive session. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining in. Thank you, Mr. Kaushal, Mr. Rakesh,
so much,
Mr. Swami, and all the participants for sparing your very, very valuable time to be with us and as a support to building of this whole ecosystem of social stock exchange on